My parents pressured me to cancel my wedding for my sister's birthday. When I refused, my dad screamed, "You're selfish. Family comes first." My sister smirked, "It's just a wedding. Reschedule it." But when I exposed their real reason for ruining my big day, they went silent. The next day, my fiance sent me a screenshot of my sister's secret plan. I always knew my family had a favorite child. I just never thought they'd be this obvious about it. Growing up, I was the responsible one, the one who always did what was expected of me. Good grades, good job, no trouble. Then there was Aria, my younger sister, the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. She was the kind of person who walked into a room and somehow made it all about her without even trying. And my parents, well, they let her. No, they encouraged it. I should have seen it coming. I should have known the second I told them about my wedding date that they'd find a way to make it about Aria. Jake proposed to me on a quiet fall evening in Chicago, right by the river where we had our first date. It was perfect, just the two of us, no grand gestures, no audience. Just love. We picked June 14th for the wedding, a date that meant something to us. It was the anniversary of the day we met. Every part of the planning was going smoothly, or so I thought. Then, about 4 months before the wedding, my mom called and told me to come over for dinner. "We need to talk," she said. That was never a good sign. Jake and I arrived at my parents' house, and the second I stepped inside, I could feel the tension. My dad sat stiffly in his chair, my mom pursed her lips like she was holding back some grand disappointment, and Aria? She was scrolling through her phone like she didn't have a care in the world. Something was up. We sat down, and after some forced small talk, my mom exhaled dramatically and set her wine glass down. "Mila," she said. "We need to discuss your wedding date." I frowned. "What about it?" My dad cleared his throat. "You need to move it," I laughed. Because surely, they were joking. Right? Move it? I repeated. Why? For Aria, of course, my mom said like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I turned to my sister, expecting her to brush it off or at least pretend to be gracious about it. But she just smirked. "It's kinda inconsiderate, don't you think? My birthday is that week. Everyone will be focused on your wedding instead of celebrating me." I blinked. My brain couldn't even process the level of entitlement in that sentence. "Aria," I said slowly, "my wedding is 3 days after your birthday." She shrugged. "Still too close. Still too close." I let out a short, disbelieving laugh. "You're serious?" My dad suddenly slammed his hand on the table, making me jump. "Mila, you're being selfish." I was selfish? For keeping my wedding date? Jake shifted beside me, his jaw tightening. "With all due respect, sir, how is it selfish for Mila to keep the date she and I chose together over a year ago?" My dad turned red. "Because we're telling you it's important." "Reschedule it," Aria chimed in. "It's just a wedding." That did it. The way she said it, so dismissive, so completely devoid of care, made something snap inside me. "No," I said firmly. Silence. Then my dad's voice came low and cold. "You'll regret this." Jake and I left shortly after. The second we got in the car, I let out a bitter laugh. "They're insane, right? It's not just me?" Jake rubbed the back of his neck. "I don't get it. It makes no sense." It didn't. Not at first. The next morning, my cousin Leah called. "Hey, I heard about the family drama," she said hesitantly. I groaned. "Already? Who told you?" "My mom." "But listen. There's something you should know." Something in her voice made my stomach tighten. "What is it?" Leah hesitated, then said, "Aria isn't mad about her birthday. That's just an excuse. The real reason she wants you to move your wedding is because she's getting engaged. And she wants to announce it that weekend." I felt like I had been punched in the gut. "She's been planning this big surprise announcement," Leah continued. "Your wedding would overshadow it." I could barely process the words. "You're telling me she wants me to move my wedding so she can have the spotlight?" "I didn't say it was fair," Leah admitted. I hung up without another word. My hands were shaking with rage. That night, I confronted my parents. I called them and told them to meet me at their house. I didn't even let them sit down before I got to the point. "Tell me the truth," I demanded. "Is this really about Aria's birthday, or is it because she wants to announce her engagement?" My mom hesitated. Just for a second. But that second was all I needed. "She deserves her moment too," my dad muttered. I exhaled sharply. "So you expect me to push back my wedding so she can have her moment?" Dad crossed his arms. "Yes. And Aria?" She was sitting there, completely unbothered. "It's not a big deal, Mila. Just move it." Something inside me broke. I was done. Done trying to be the good daughter, done trying to be understanding, done letting them walk all over me. No, I said again. My dad's face darkened. Then don't expect us to come. It hurt. More than I wanted to admit. But I refused to let them see it. The next morning, Jake sent me a text. Babe, you need to see this. It was a screenshot of a group chat between Aria and her friends. Aria, Lamau, she thinks it's just about my birthday. Friend 1, you really got your parents backing you on this? Aria, duh. They always take my side. Friend 2, what if she doesn't move it? Aria, then I'll make sure that wedding never happens. A cold chill ran through me. Jake texted again. I don't trust her, Mila. Neither did I. I stared at my phone, my mind racing. If Aria wanted to play dirty, then so be it. I was done being the bigger person. I sat there staring at my phone, my fingers gripping it so tightly my knuckles turned white. The words on the screen blurred together, my mind racing through every possible meaning behind them. Then I'll make sure that wedding never happens. What the HLL did that even mean? I felt my pulse pounding in my ears as I reread the message over and over again, trying to convince myself that I was overreacting. That maybe Aria was just being dramatic. But deep down, I knew better. Jake called me a few seconds later. I answered immediately. Did you see it? He asked, his voice tense. I saw it, I said through clenched teeth. Jake sighed. Mila, I don't like this. What does she mean, make sure it never happens? What is she planning? I swallowed hard. I don't know. But I'm going to find out. I hung up before he could protest and immediately called Aria. She picked up on the second ring. Hey, big sis, she sang. Her fake sweetness made my skin crawl. Cut the crap, Aria, I snapped. What the HLL does this mean? I sent her the screenshot, and I could hear the moment she saw it. The small hitch in her breath, the moment of silence before she recovered. I don't know what you're talking about, she said smoothly. That's obviously fake. I scoffed. Oh, really? So Jake just magically made up a whole conversation with your friends? Probably. I could hear the smirk in her voice, and it made me want to throw my phone against the wall. You're unbelievable, I muttered. And you're paranoid, she shot back. Seriously, Mila, do you think I have time to plot against your wedding? I have my own life, you know. Yeah, your life that you planned to hijack my wedding for. She didn't even bother denying it. Look, she said, suddenly sounding bored. You need to chill out. You're getting married. Congrats. Move on. Move on? I echoed, anger bubbling up in my chest. But before I could respond, she hung up. I stood there, phone still pressed to my ear, seething. Jake was right. I couldn't trust her. And I had a very, very bad feeling that this wasn't over. For the next few days, I tried to push the conversation out of my mind. I threw myself into wedding preparations, focusing on cake tastings, floral arrangements, and finalizing the seating chart. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming. And then, the next disaster hit. I got a call from my wedding venue. Hi, Ms. Harrington, the coordinator said hesitantly. I just wanted to confirm. Are you canceling your booking? My heart nearly stopped. What? We received a call from someone claiming to be you. They said you wanted to cancel the reservation. My stomach dropped. I knew exactly who it was. I forced myself to breathe. No. That was not me. My wedding is still happening, and I did not authorize any cancellations. Oh. I'm so sorry, the coordinator said quickly. It just sounded so official. The caller knew all your details, your contract number, the deposit amount, everything. Of course she did. I clenched my jaw. If anyone calls again pretending to be me, please call me directly before making any changes. Of course. Again, I apologize for the confusion. I hung up and immediately called Aria. No answer. I called again. And again. And again. Finally, she picked up. Uck, what do you want? You called my wedding venue and tried to cancel it? My voice shook with fury. There was a pause. Then she laughed. You are so paranoid, Mila. Don't play dumb, Aria, I snapped. The venue said the caller knew everything, my contract number, my deposit, my booking details. That information isn't public. You're the only person who would do something like this. She didn't say anything. Why? I demanded. What do you get out of this? Aria sighed dramatically. God, you're so sensitive. Fine. Whatever. Maybe I made a little call. But so what? You should be thanking me. Thanking you? I repeated, my voice rising. You're welcome, she said sweetly. Now you have time to pick a better date. I saw red. I swear to God, Aria, but she hung up. I stood there, my whole body shaking with rage. She was trying to sabotage me. And worst of all? My parents were letting her. That night, I called my mom. I needed to hear her say it, needed to hear her admit what they were doing. She answered on the second ring. Mila, it's late. What is it? I didn't bother with pleasantries. Did you know that Aria tried to cancel my wedding venue? A beat of silence. Then, I'm sure she was just joking. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to stay calm. Mom. She called the venue and tried to cancel it. That's not a joke. Well, my mom said, her voice carefully neutral, maybe she just thought she was doing the right thing. The right thing? My voice cracked. Are you seriously defending her? Mom sighed. Mila, she's your sister. She's just upset. You know how much she hates feeling left out. So your solution is to let her sabotage my wedding? Don't be dramatic. I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Dramatic? Mom, do you even hear yourself? She's your sister, Mila, she repeated, as if that excused everything. I gripped the phone so tightly my fingers hurt. You know what? I'm done. If you want to keep enabling her, go ahead. But I am done being the one who has to compromise, Mom sighed. Mila, I hung up. The moment I hung up on my mother, I sat there staring at my phone, my hands shaking with rage. I wanted to scream, cry, throw something, anything to release the storm building inside me. But instead, I took a deep breath and did what I always did. I pushed it down. Jake found me sitting on the couch, clutching my phone like it had personally betrayed me. He took one look at my face and sat down beside me. What happened? He asked softly. I swallowed the lump in my throat. She knew. My voice was hollow. My mom knew what Aria did. And she defended her. Again. Jake's jaw clenched. Of course she did. I let out a bitter laugh. She actually said Aria was just upset and that I should understand. Can you believe that? Jake exhaled through his nose, his hands balling into fists. Mila, this isn't normal. This isn't how a family should act. Your sister is actively trying to ruin your wedding, and your parents are just letting it happen. I blinked back tears. They're not just letting it happen. They're enabling it. Jake was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I don't want them at the wedding. I looked up at him sharply. Jake, no, he said firmly. I mean it. I've been trying to stay out of it because I know they're your family. But Mila, I can't stand by and watch them do this to you. They don't deserve to be there. I opened my mouth to argue, to say they're still my parents, but the words wouldn't come. Because deep down, I knew he was right. But cutting them off completely? That was a step I wasn't sure I was ready for. I'll think about it, I said finally. Jake nodded, but I could tell by his face that he wasn't going to let it go. The next morning, I woke up to another disaster. My wedding planner, Jenna, called me in a panic. Mila. Thank God you answered. I sat up in bed, already dreading whatever was about to come out of her mouth. What's wrong? It's the caterer. They just called me and said they received a cancellation request. My stomach dropped. I swung my legs over the side of the bed. Are you serious? Dead serious, Jenna said. I told them it had to be a mistake, but they said the caller provided all the correct contract details, your deposit, your guest count, your selected menu. Everything. I clenched my teeth so hard my jaw ached. Did they say who called? They wouldn't tell me, but I have a strong suspicion it was the same person who tried to cancel your venue. I forced myself to take a slow, steady breath. Did they actually cancel it, or is our contract still valid? It's still valid, Jenna reassured me. I made sure of that. But Mila. Someone is actively trying to sabotage your wedding. This isn't a mistake. It's targeted. I squeezed my eyes shut. I wanted to scream. But instead, I said, thanks, Jenna. I'll handle it. The second I hung up, I called Aria. She picked up after 3 rings. Jesus, Mila, why are you so obsessed with me? I saw red. You tried to cancel my caterer? My voice was deadly calm. Aria snorted. Wow, you're really losing it. Admit it, I demanded. Admit you called and tried to cancel my wedding services, she laughed, the sound grating against my nerves. You seriously think I have time for that? You're the only one who would do this, I snapped. You tried to cancel my venue, and when that didn't work, you went after my caterer. What's next? My dress? My DJ? Aria yawned. Yawned. You're so dramatic, she said lazily. I gritted my teeth so hard I thought they might crack. You know what, Aria? My voice was quiet, controlled. I've spent my whole life putting up with your SHT. But this? This is low, even for you. Blah, 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 she sang. You done? I inhaled sharply. You're dead to me. She let out an exaggerated gasp. Oh no, whatever will I do without my boring, uptight big sister? I hung up. And then I blocked her number. I wanted to believe that was the end of it. That after I cut her off, she'd finally get the message and leave me alone. But Aria didn't know how to let things go. A week later, I found out she had crashed my bridal shower. I was at a nice little brunch spot downtown, surrounded by my closest friends and Jake's sisters. I had just started to relax, to actually enjoy myself, when the restaurant door swung open and there she was. Aria, in a skin-tight white dress. My stomach plummeted. Every head at the table turned toward me, waiting to see what I would do. I stood up so fast my chair nearly toppled over. What the HLL are you doing here? Aria beamed at me like we were best friends. I heard you were having a little party. Thought I'd stop by and say hi. I turned to my best friend, Tessa, who had been in charge of planning the shower. Did you invite her? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. Tessa looked horrified. Absolutely not. I turned back to Aria. Get out. She pouted. Mila, come on. Are you really going to make a scene? You are the scene, I shot back. Aria let out a dramatic sigh. God, you're so sensitive. I just wanted to celebrate with you. SHT, Tessa muttered. I pointed to the door. Leave. Now. Aria rolled her eyes. Fine. I wouldn't want to be here anyway. This place is tacky. With that, she flipped her hair over her shoulder and strutted out, as if she hadn't just humiliated herself in front of everyone. I sat back down, my entire body buzzing with anger. Tessa leaned in. Mila. This is insane. I exhaled slowly. I know. And for the first time in my life, I realized something. Aria wasn't just a spoiled brat. She wasn't just self-centered. She was obsessed with ruining my happiness. And I had no idea how far she was willing to go. I didn't think Aria could surprise me anymore. But the fact that she had the audacity to crash my bridal shower in a white dress, of all things, made my blood boil. The second she was gone, the table erupted into conversation. What the HLL was that? Jake's sister, Olivia, asked, still staring at the door in disbelief. Was she drunk? Someone else muttered. No, I said, my voice tight. That was just Aria being Aria. Tessa scoffed. That was Aria being a raging narcissist. I reached for my mimosa, my hand still trembling slightly. I wasn't even mad about the bridal shower itself, I was mad because this proved something I had been trying to deny. Aria wasn't going to stop. Every time I put up a boundary, she bulldozed right over it. Every time I cut her off, she found a way to wedge herself back in. It was a game to her, a sick, twisted game where the goal was to ruin my wedding by any means necessary. And she was winning. Because no matter how much I pretended to brush it off, she was getting to me. I felt a hand on my arm and looked up to see Tessa watching me carefully. Mila, she said gently, this isn't normal. I forced a bitter smile. Tell me something I don't know. Tessa shook her head. No, I mean it. This isn't just sibling rivalry or favoritism. This is sabotage. She's trying to destroy your wedding. She wasn't wrong. But what the HLL was I supposed to do? I didn't have to wait long for the next disaster. 2 days after the bridal shower, I got the phone call. I was in the middle of finalizing the seating chart when my wedding dress boutique called. Ms. Harrington? The woman said cautiously. I sat up straighter, immediately on edge. Yes? This is Stephanie from Bridal Elegance. I just wanted to confirm. Did you cancel your gown order? My stomach dropped. I gripped the phone tighter. What? No. Absolutely not. Stephanie hesitated. Oh. Well. Someone called earlier, claiming to be you. They said you wanted to cancel the order and request a refund. I pressed my fingers to my temple, already knowing who it was. Did they give a name? I asked, my voice dangerously calm. No, they just claimed to be you, Stephanie said, but we thought it was odd, so we wanted to confirm. I forced myself to take a slow breath. No. That was not me. My dress is still on order, and I do not want it cancelled. Understood, she said quickly. We'll make a note of it. I'm so sorry for the confusion. I muttered a thank you and hung up, my hands shaking with rage. I stared at the screen for a long moment before finally typing out a message. I swear to God, Aria, if you try one more thing. I stopped myself before I could finish. No. I wasn't going to warn her. I was going to let her think she won. And then? I was going to ruin her. I didn't go straight to Aria. No, I went to my parents. I wanted to hear them defend this. I wanted to hear what excuse they would come up with for this latest stunt. I stormed into their house without knocking, my heart pounding so hard I could barely think. My mom looked up from the couch, startled. Mila. What are you? I cut her off. Aria tried to cancel my wedding dress. Silence. My dad shifted in his chair, his face unreadable. My mom pursed her lips like she was trying to figure out the best way to spin this. Finally, she sighed and said, I'm sure she didn't mean anything by it. I laughed. A sharp, bitter laugh that filled the entire room. She tried to cancel my wedding gown, and you think she didn't mean anything by it? My dad ran a hand over his face. Mila, don't you think you're being a little dramatic? I blinked. Dramatic? My voice was barely above a whisper. Look, my mom said, standing up. Aria just. She's going through a tough time. You know how much she hates feeling like she's not the center of attention. I stared at them, stunned. They weren't even denying it anymore. They knew what she was doing. And they were still excusing her. For a long moment, I just stood there, my heart pounding. And then, I said, you know what? I don't even care anymore. My mom frowned. Mila, I don't care, I repeated, stepping back toward the door. Because if you think I'm just going to stand here and let her ruin my wedding, you're dead wrong. My dad scoffed. Oh, come on, what are you going to do? Disown your own family? I looked him straight in the eye and said, watch me. And then I turned and walked out the door. I should have expected the final blow. But I didn't. Because somehow, someway, Aria found a way to make things even worse. I was at work when I got the text from Jake. Jake, you need to come home. Now. My stomach twisted. Me, what's wrong? Jake, just come home. I grabbed my bag and practically ran out of my office. When I got home, Jake was pacing the living room, his face pale with fury. What happened? I demanded. He exhaled sharply, then handed me his phone. Read this. It was a screenshot from Aria's Instagram story. It was a picture of my wedding invitation. And underneath it, she had written, Wedding of the year. Can't wait. I frowned. I don't get it. She's just bragging that she's coming. Jake took his phone back and scrolled down. I asked in a breath. She had posted the address. My entire wedding venue's location, out in the open for anyone to see. She just invited the entire internet to our wedding, Jake said, his voice dangerously low. I felt the blood drain from my face. This wasn't just petty. This wasn't just sabotage. This was malicious. This was war. And I had no choice but to fight back. I stood there, my entire body going numb as I stared at the screen. Aria had posted my wedding invitation, complete with the date, time, and location, for the whole world to see. I could already picture it, random strangers, people from high school I hadn't spoken to in years, drama-hungry acquaintances showing up just to see the chaos unfold. Jake ran a hand through his hair. Mila, we can't let this happen. This is a security nightmare. What if, I know, I cut in, my voice eerily calm. We're going to fix it. Jake exhaled. How? I set my jaw, my mind already working a mile a minute. By beating Aria at her own game. For years, I had been the one who played fair, the one who kept quiet, the one who swallowed my pride and let my family walk all over me. Not anymore. Aria wanted to turn my wedding into a circus? Fine. But she had no idea that I was about to pull the rug out from under her. The first thing I did was call my venue and explain the situation. We can't risk security issues, I said firmly. I need to change the location. The venue coordinator, bless her, was incredibly understanding. We can arrange a venue swap, she said. It's last minute, but we have an exclusive estate location available. It's even more private than your current one. I barely hesitated. Book it. It cost a little extra, but at this point, worth it. Then, I texted my wedding planner, Jenna. Me, new venue secured. I'll send details. Do not tell my parents or Aria. Jenna, OMG, I love this. You're actually pulling a switcheroo? Me, damn right I am. Jenna, girl, I'm pouring a glass of wine for this. Next, I had to deal with the guest list issue. Thanks to Aria's little stunt, I couldn't be sure who had seen the post, so I did the only thing I could, I sent out new invitations. Well, not actual invitations. I created a private event page, sent it only to my trusted guests, and wrote, venue change. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we've moved the wedding to a more intimate location. If you receive this, you're on the guest list. If someone claims they heard about the wedding and weren't invited, please do not share the details. We appreciate your understanding. Now, all that was left was to deal with Aria. The morning of the wedding, I waited. Aria had no idea that everything had changed. And sure enough, at around 11 a.m., I got a text from my mom. "Mom, Mila, why is the venue empty?" I smiled. Then, a second later, "Aria, WTF is going on?" I let her messages pile up. Then, when I was fully dressed in my gown, my makeup flawless, my hair styled to perfection, I finally responded. "Me, oh. You didn't hear? The wedding venue changed. Guess you didn't make the guest list." Silence. Then, "Aria, UBTCH. I grinned. Jake came up behind me, his hand settling on my waist. "You look absolutely stunning," he murmured. I leaned into him. "Thank you." He glanced down at my phone and smirked. "Did she figure it out yet?" "Oh, she figured it out. Aria called me 5 times. I didn't answer. Then, my dad tried. "Dad, Mila, this is childish. Where is the wedding?" I sent a single message back. "Me, you made your choice when you sided with Aria. Enjoy your day." And then I blocked them. I turned to Jake, my heart feeling lighter than it had in years. "Are you ready?" He kissed my forehead. "I've been ready since the day I met you." And with that, we walked toward the real wedding venue, surrounded by the people who truly loved us. Aria? She never showed up. And for the first time in my life, I didn't care. A month later, I got a text from Leah, my cousin. "Leah, you will not believe what happened." "Me, try me." Leah, Aria's fiance, dumped her. At a restaurant. In front of everyone. I almost dropped my coffee. "Me, what? Why?" Leah, apparently, he saw how she acted over your wedding and decided she wasn't wife material. I let out a laugh so loud, Jake poked his head into the room. "What's so funny?" I turned my phone toward him. He read it, then burst out laughing. "Oh, that is poetic justice." It really was. Aria had spent all that time trying to ruin my happiness, only to lose her own. And as I curled up next to my husband, sipping my coffee, I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I was free.
الغنوة اللي جاية دي حضراتكم هقولوها معايا، يعني انتوا رغبتكم، بس انتوا اول ما هتسمعوها هتعرفوا. انما انا عايز اقول لكم هي كلمات مين؟ هي كلمات الدكتور مدحت العدل والحان خالد حماد وتوزيعه برضه. هنغنيها اول ما تسمعوا الدخول هتغنوا معانا على طول.